The rain-slick streets of Seattle gleamed under the sodium glow of street lamps as Aiden Harper slammed his car door, heart pounding like a war drum in his chest. He had not seen those eyes in a decade, but there they were, staring back at him from the corner office window high above Pioneer Square, unblinking and unrelenting. "You think you can run forever, Harper?" Wyatt Kane's voice echoed from the past, a ghost whisper that clawed at Aiden's throat even now, as he forced his legs to carry him through the revolving doors of Kane Innovations. Aiden's polished loafers squeaked on the marble lobby floor, each step a betrayal of the composure he had spent years building. The elevator ride to the 23rd floor felt like ascending into Judgment Day, the mirrored walls reflecting a man he barely recognized, 32 pounds lighter than high school, jaw sharper from too many skipped meals, but those same hazel eyes, wide with the terror of what he had buried deep in the pine-scented fields of Ridge Valley, Maine. The doors dinged open, and there it was, Wyatt's name etched in gold on frosted glass. CO. Aiden's hand trembled on the doorknob, the weight of that single word, rejected, from a humid locker room 13 years ago crashing over him like the relentless Pacific downpour outside. He pushed inside, the scent of leather and aged scotch hitting him first, then the man himself, rising from behind a desk that spanned the width of a small boat. Wyatt Kane had transformed, broader shoulders filling out a tailored navy suit, sun-kissed skin from California boardrooms, but those steel blue eyes, they burned with the same fire that had once made Aiden's knees buckle in secret. "Aiden," Wyatt said, voice low and velvet smooth, like the opening credits of a noir film rolling slow. "Right on time. Welcome to your new life." Aiden swallowed hard, forcing a smile that felt like shattered glass in his mouth. "Mr. Kane. It's an honor." The lie tasted bitter, but he needed this job. Rent in Seattle was a vampire, sucking him dry after the freelance gigs dried up post-divorce. His ex, Sarah, had taken the dog and the savings. All he had left was a one-bedroom in Capitol Hill and a resume screaming potential. Wyatt's tech startup, revolutionizing sustainable urban farming, had been the golden ticket, the interview a blur of charm and evasion. He had not connected the dots until the offer letter. Kane Innovations. Wyatt Kane. The boy he had shoved away in a haze of teenage panic, the one whose confession had ignited a firestorm Aiden had spent years pretending never burned. Wyatt circled the desk slow as a panther, extending a hand that Aiden took on reflex. The grip lingered a beat too long, warm and firm, sending a jolt up Aiden's arm that pooled low in his gut. "Honor, huh?" Wyatt's lips curved, not quite a smile. "That's rich, coming from you." He released, but his gaze pinned Aiden in place, dissecting, devouring. The office overlooked the sound, ferries cutting white wakes through gray waters, but the view felt secondary to the tension coiling between them like smoke from a hidden blaze. "Sit," Wyatt commanded, gesturing to a leather armchair that swallowed Aiden whole. Papers rustled, his contract, highlighted in yellow. "We're a small team here. Agile. You report directly to me." The words hung heavy, laced with subtext Aiden dared not unpack. He nodded, signing with a pen that felt like lead, his mind flashing to that September afternoon in Ridge Valley High. The football field after practice, sweat-soaked jerseys clinging, the air thick with the promise of autumn leaves. Wyatt, 17 and fearless, had cornered him by the bleachers. "I love you, Aiden. Have for years." The words had exploded like a grenade, and Aiden, terrified of the whispers in the halls, the judgmental eyes of Coach Harlan and the Bible thumpers in homeroom, had laughed. Laughed then shoved. "Get off me, freak. I'm not like that." The memory clawed at him now, as Wyatt leaned against the desk, arms crossed, watching. "You'll start tomorrow. Marketing lead for the hydroponic launch. I expect brilliance." His tone shifted, softening at the edges. "Like back in debate club. You always had a way with words." Aiden's breath hitched. Debate club, where stolen glances across podiums had been their secret language, before fear turned it to ash. "I appreciate the opportunity," Aiden managed, standing too quickly, chair scraping like a confession. Wyatt stepped closer, close enough that Aiden caught the faint cedar of his cologne, the same one from high school drives to Portland for indie films. "Wyatt, Mr. Kane, this is..." He trailed off, words failing as they always had. "Surreal." Wyatt supplied, his hand brushing Aiden's elbow, a touch that lingered like a brand. Or fate? The question was a hook in Aiden's chest, pulling him under. He fled then, mumbling excuses about traffic, the elevator descent a freefall into the storm-swept streets below. Rain plastered his shirt to his skin, but it did nothing to douse the heat rising in his veins. Wyatt Kane was back, not as the broken boy from Maine, but as the man who held Aiden's future, and perhaps his unraveling, in those unyielding hands. Back in his apartment, the walls closing in like judgmental spectators, Aiden poured a glass of bourbon, the amber liquid trembling in his grip. Seattle's skyline twinkled mockingly through the window, a city of reinvention that had promised escape from Ridge Valley's small-town suffocation. He had come here 5 years ago, chasing dreams of big agency ads, only to crash into freelance hell after Sarah's affair with her yoga instructor. Now this Wyatt, risen from the grave of adolescent cruelty, his empire a glittering testament to what Aiden had nearly destroyed. The phone buzzed. An unknown number. Can't wait to see what you've become. No signature, but Aiden knew. He deleted it, heart racing, and sank onto the couch, head in hands. Sleep came fitful, haunted by dreams of bleachers and blue eyes, Wyatt's voice whispering, "You can't reject me twice." Morning broke gray and unforgiving, the alarm a shrill reminder of the cage he had stepped into. Aiden dressed in his best button-down, navy to match the firm's branding, and drove through traffic that crawled like regret. Kane Innovations occupied a converted warehouse in Soto, all exposed brick and verdant test gardens glowing under LED lights. His desk was a glass-topped slab in the open-plan bullpen, monitors humming with data on vertical farms that could feed cities without soil. "Harper," a voice boomed, Jenna Ruiz, the ops manager, all sharp bob and sharper wit. "Boss man's got you on the ropes already. Coffee run." She was 35, Latina firecracker from East LA, the kind of colleague who disarmed with humor. Aiden forced a grin. "Black 2 sugars. Thanks." The day blurred into pitches and proofs, his mind a whirlwind of copy for Green Horizons, farming the future. But every hour on the hour, Wyatt's office door would swing open, and those eyes would find him, holding just long enough to make Aiden's pulse stutter. Lunch was a solo affair at a food truck, falafel wrapping warm against the chill, but even there his phone lit up, thinking about that time in the woods. Remember? Aiden's fork froze midair. The woods, senior year, a bonfire party where whiskey loosened tongues and Wyatt's hand had found his under the stars, tentative, electric. Aiden had pulled away then too, mumbling about girls, but the kiss had happened, brief and searing, before panic won. He typed back before he could stop himself. "That was a lifetime ago. Let it go." Sent. Deleted thread. But the damage lingered, a knot in his chest as he returned to the office, only to find Wyatt waiting by his desk, casual and rolled sleeves that showcased forearms roped with muscle from weekend hikes in the Olympics. "Progress?" Wyatt asked, leaning in, voice pitched low for Aiden's ears alone. "Solid. Taglines are locking in." Aiden's fingers flew over keys, avoiding those eyes. Wyatt didn't move. "Good. Dinner tonight? Strategy session. My place in Queen Anne." It wasn't a question. Aiden's stomach twisted. "Aye. Non-negotiable." Wyatt's smile was a blade sheathed in silk. "Pick you up at 7. The afternoon dissolved into feverish work, colleagues oblivious to the undercurrent pulling Aiden under. Jenna clocked it, though, sliding him a beer from the fridge at 5. "Boss has a thing for pretty faces. Watch your back." She winked, but her eyes held warning. 7 came too soon. Wyatt's black Audi purring outside Aiden's building like a predator. The drive wound up Queen Anne's hills, mansions giving way to Wyatt's modernist perch, glass walls framing the city lights, a deck overlooking the lights-dotted bay. Inside it was all clean lines and warmth. Leather sofas, abstract art in blues and grays, a kitchen island laden with takeout from a Thai spot in Belltown. "Patsy, you?" Wyatt asked, plating with practiced ease. "You used to devour it at that hole in the wall in South Portland." Aiden's throat tightened. Memory like an elephant. Or obsession. Wyatt's gaze pinned him again, over candlelight that flickered like unspoken truths. They ate in near silence, the clink of forks a metronome to Aiden's racing thoughts. Wine followed, Cabernet deep as blood, loosening tongues. "Why now?" Aiden finally asked, voice raw. "After all this time?" Wyatt set his glass down, deliberate. "Because I built this for you. Every deal, every late night. It was to prove I'm not the kid you laughed at." His hand reached across, fingers tracing Aiden's knuckles. "And because I never stopped wanting you." Aiden jerked back, chair scraping. "That was high school, Wyatt. I was scared. Scared of everything, my dad, the town, myself." The words tumbled out, a dam breaking. Ridge Valley had been a pressure cooker. His father, Harlan Harper, the stoic lobsterman who quoted Psalms at dinner, his mother silent in the face of it all. Coming out. It would have shattered the fragile peace. Wyatt's expression cracked, pain flashing raw. "Scared. That's what you told yourself. But you kissed me back, Aiden. In those woods under the pines. You felt it." "I did." The admission hung heavy as the rain pattering the windows. Aiden's eyes burned. "But I couldn't. Not then. And now." Wyatt rose, closing the distance, his body heat a siren call. Aiden's back hit the counter, trapped as Wyatt's hand cupped his jaw, thumb brushing his lip. The kiss, when it came, was inevitable, slow, devastating, tasting of wine and wasted years. Aiden melted into it, hands fisting Wyatt's shirt, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the press of mouths and the ache of what might have been. They broke apart, gasping, foreheads touching. "Stay," Wyatt murmured, breath ragged. Aiden wanted to, God, he did, but the ghost of that rejection whispered retreat. "I can't. Not like this." He fled again into the night, the city lights blurring through tears he refused to shed. Days bled into weeks, the office a minefield of stolen touches. A brush of fingers over reports, a lingering stare across conference tables. Wyatt's obsession manifested in subtle ways. His favorite coffee on the desk each morning, playlists of their high school mixtapes synced to the shared drive. Aiden fought it, dating apps flickering open in guilty late nights, but no one stuck. No one had Wyatt's fire. Then came the launch party, a rooftop affair at the Edgewater, champagne flutes clinking under starry skies. Aiden, tipsy on success and proximity, found himself cornered by the railing, Wyatt's hand on his waist. "Tell me you don't feel it," Wyatt demanded, voice husky. "I feel it," Aiden confessed, the city sprawl a witness below. Their kiss this time was public, reckless, colleagues whooping in the background. For a moment, freedom tasted like salt air and possibility. But dawn brought reality. Jenna pulled him aside Monday, face grim. "He's got a reputation, Aiden. Power plays. Be careful." Doubt crept in, a vine choking the bloom. Late nights at the office revealed Wyatt's calendar. Dinners with venture capitalists, but also encrypted folders Aiden shouldn't have seen. Photos from Ridge Valley, Aiden's yearbook picture annotated with hearts, journals chronicling every move post-high school. Stalking? Or love? The line blurred. Confrontation came in Wyatt's office, rain lashing the windows like accusations. "This isn't healthy," Aiden said, slamming printouts down. "You're fixated." Wyatt's laugh was bitter. "Fixated? I loved you through your silence, your marriage, your move west. I waited." He stood, towering. "And now you accuse me? You scare me," Aiden shot back, voice breaking. "Like Dad did, with his rules and rage." The words landed like blows. Wyatt recoiled, eyes darkening. "I'm not him. But if that's what you see." He turned away, shoulders rigid. "Get out." Aiden did, but the fracture lingered. Work became war. Wyatt distant, assignments punitive, whispers of favoritism poisoning the team. Aiden's pitches rejected, his confidence eroding like Seattle's cliffs in winter storms. Rock bottom hit in a Capitol Hill bar, drowning sorrows in gin when his phone rang, his mother voice frail from Maine. "Your father's gone, Aiden. Heart attack. Come home." The flight east was a blur, Ridge Valley unchanged. Clapboard houses sagging under salt air, the high school field eternal green. The funeral was a parade of condolences, neighbors who had known his secret shames. Wyatt's name echoed in memories, a specter. Back in Seattle, the office felt hollow. Wyatt summoned him, door closed. Heard about Harlan? I'm sorry. Aiden nodded, throat tight. It made me think. About us. The rejection. It wasn't just fear. It was me pushing away anything real. Wyatt's gaze softened, the obsession cracking to reveal vulnerability. I built walls too. After you I ran to Stanford to startups. But you were always there. They talked then, hours unraveling threads of pain. Wyatt's own closeted youth, beatings from his stepfather. Aiden's internalized hate, the marriage a shield. No grand gestures, just truths laid bare. Forgive me, Aiden whispered. Wyatt pulled him close. Only if you forgive yourself. The kiss was healing, tentative, a bridge over chasms. Months unfolded slow. Therapy sessions in tandem, weekends hiking Rainier, learning trust like a new language. Wyatt's obsession tempered to passion, Aiden's fears to courage. One evening, deck lights aglow, Wyatt knelt in their shared queen and home, there now. Marry me, Aiden. Not despite the past, but because of it. Tears fell, yes, a vow. In Seattle's embrace they found absolution. Not in perfection, but in the raw humanity of loving through scars. The city lights danced on the sound, a testament to reinvention, compassion's quiet revolution. Wyatt's proposal hung in the air like the first snow of a Maine winter, soft and inevitable, blanketing the raw edges of their shared history. Aiden's yes emerged as a breath, fragile yet fierce, sealing a pact forged in the fires of rejection and redemption. They stood there on the deck, arms entwined, the Puget Sound whispering secrets to the night, as if the water itself approved of this second chance. But beneath the romance, Aiden felt the undercurrent, a tremor of doubt, the echo of old wounds that no ring could fully mend. The weeks that followed were a montage of domestic bliss, the kind scripted for Netflix's heartwarming arcs. Lazy Sundays sourcing heirloom tomatoes from Pike Place for Wyatt's experimental hydroponics, evenings curled on the sofa with craft IPAs and episodes of The Bear, dissecting the chaos of kitchens as metaphor for their own tangled lives. Aiden's marketing campaign soared under Wyatt's subtle guidance. No more punitive rejections, just collaborative sparks that lit up boardrooms. Jenna raised a skeptical brow at first, but even she softened over team happy hours at the Tractor Tavern, toasting to the bosses who don't suck. Yet, intimacy was a slower bloom. Their first night fully together, post-proposal, Aiden lay awake in the king bed overlooking the city, Wyatt steady breathing at anchor beside him. Touch had always been loaded. High school fumbles in truck beds, tentative explorations cut short by Aiden's panic. Now, with permission granted by time and therapy, it terrified him anew. What if he failed again? What if the obsession resurfaced not as love but as control? Wyatt sensed it, of course. Mornings he brewed Aiden's coffee just so bold, with a dash of cinnamon from a tin smuggled from New Orleans on a whim, and left notes on the fridge, "You're my horizon." Simple, unpossessive. In sessions with Dr. Ellis, a no-nonsense therapist in a Belltown walk-up, they unpacked the layers. Obsession isn't love until it's chosen, she said, her voice calm as chamomile tea. Wyatt nodded, eyes on Aiden. I choose you. Every day. Aiden's return visits to Ridge Valley tested that choice. Spring thawed the lobster pots along the coast, and he drove the winding roads to clear his father's attic, boxes of faded photos surfacing like ghosts. Harlan Harper stern in flannel, arm around a younger Aiden at Little League. Smiles forced, love unspoken. A letter tucked in a Bible, son be true. But survive. Aiden's chest ached. Survival had meant suppression, rejection of Wyatt as collateral. Wyatt flew in unannounced, rental car crunching gravel outside the family cottage. Thought you might need backup, he said, arms laden with lobster rolls from a Portsmouth shack. They sorted in silence at first, dust motes dancing in slanted light, until Wyatt unearthed a high school annual. There they were. Debate team, Aiden's arm slung casual over Wyatt's shoulder, eyes locked in a gaze too intimate for the camera. Look at us, Wyatt murmured, finger tracing the photo. We were kids playing at secrets. Aiden's voice cracked. I broke you here. Wyatt pulled him close, chin on Aiden's shoulder. You made me stronger. This place, it's why I fight for green spaces now. To give kids like us room to breathe. They made love that night in the creaky twin bed, slow and reverent, the ocean's rhythm syncing with their own. No rush, no ghosts, just presence, Aiden's hands mapping Wyatt's scars, verbalizing the love he had once silenced. Back in Seattle, conflict brewed not from within but without. Kane Innovations hit a snag. A rival firm, Apex Agritech, poaching talent with deep-pocketed investors. Whispers turned to leaks. Aiden's confidential pitch deck surfaced in a competitor's proposal verbatim. Fingers pointed inward. Trust fractured like thin ice. Who? Wyatt demanded in the war room, voice edged with the old steel. The team shifted uneasily, Jenna denying vehemently, the junior devs averting eyes. Aiden's gut twisted. Late nights poring over logs, he found it. Access from his own login, timestamped during a bathroom break. Impossible unless. His phone left charging on his desk. He confronted Wyatt privately, door locked. Did you? To protect the launch. Wyatt's face paled, then flushed. I checked your files. Thought Apex was sniffing too close. It was a scan, Aiden. Nothing more. Nothing more. Aiden's laugh was hollow. You hacked my access. That's betrayal, Wyatt. The kind that echoes high school. Me rejecting you to protect myself. Wyatt reached, but Aiden stepped back. I was scared of losing you. The company, us. It's all intertwined. Not like this. Aiden stormed out, the betrayal a fresh wound reopening scars. He crashed at Jenna's, her couch a makeshift confessional. Men, she sighed, pouring tequila. Power corrupts, even the hot ones. Days of radio silence stretched. Wyatt's texts a barrage, talk to me. Please. Aiden drafted responses, deleted them, the obsession now a mirror to his own fears. Apex capitalized, snatching the hydroponic contract for a Portland high-rise. Wyatt's board called emergency meetings. Layoffs loomed. Aiden returned not for the job, but for the man. He found Wyatt in the test garden. Hands dirty in soil beds, eyes red-rimmed. I overstepped, Wyatt admitted, voice raw. Therapy's teaching me boundaries, but I failed. Aiden knelt beside him, fingers brushing earth. We both did. But running. That's my pattern. Let's fix this together. Reconciliation was gritty. Wyatt stepping back from oversight. Aiden leading the counterpitch with transparency. They won a smaller contract. Tacoma schools, feeding kids fresh greens. And in the victory found humility. Love, they learned, thrived in vulnerability, not vigilance. Summer deepened, their engagement a quiet affair. Rings exchanged on a ferry to Bainbridge, seals barking approval. But shadows lingered. Aiden's mother visited, her main accent thick as fog. Over clam chowder at Ivor's she eyed Wyatt. Heard stories back home. That boy. He never let go. Aiden tensed. Stories. After you left for college, he drove by the house some nights. Just sat in his truck, staring at the lights. Her hand on his. Love like that's rare. Dangerous but rare. Wyatt, overhearing later, confessed. I did. Wanted to hate you but couldn't. So I watched from afar. Built my life around the what-ifs. Aiden pulled him into an embrace, fierce. No more afar. We're here. Yet danger manifested in Apex's CEO. A slick venture vet named Landon Pierce, who cornered Aiden at a networking mixer in the Sphinx. Kane's got you leashed tight, huh? Word is he's obsessed, files, tales, the works. Lies, half-truths amplified from the leak scandal. Aiden's blood ran cold. Pierce's smile was a shark's. He told Wyatt that night, expecting rage. Instead, quiet resolve. We'll expose him. Legally. Lawyers mobilized, tracing Apex's dirty tricks, bribes, hacks. The fallout was public. Headlines in The Stranger, Wyatt's testimony a masterclass in poise. Innovation thrives on trust, he said to cameras, hand finding Aiden's off-screen. Betrayal? That's just noise. Vindicated, they emerged stronger. The incident a catalyst for Wyatt's memoir Pitch, Roots and Rejections. Building from the ground up. Aiden ghosted chapters, weaving their story with care. Fall painted the Cascades gold and wedding plans bloomed. A small ceremony in Ridge Valley, full circle. Invites went to old classmates including Finn Whitaker, Wyatt's high school confidant, now a Portland barista with a wry grin. About time you two, Finn toasted at the rehearsal beer foam mustache. But by Kitch lurked in the unexpected. Wyatt's stepfather Victor Kane surfaced from obscurity, a grizzled ex-trucker in Reno, letters postmarked with regret. Heard you're tying the knot. Wish I'd been better. Wyatt read it aloud, voice steady but tears betrayed him. Aiden held him through the night. You broke the cycle. That's enough. The wedding day dawned crisp, the old church in Ridge Valley strung with wildflowers, hydroponic herbs from Wyatt's lab scenting the air. Vows exchanged under stained glass. Aiden's, I choose you not despite the pain but through it. Wyatt's, you're my freedom, my fight. As they kissed, cheers rising, Aiden felt the weight lift. Not gone but shared. In America's heartlands and harbors they stood as testament. Love's obsession, tamed by compassion, identity reclaimed. Yet as rings glinted a final shadow. A call from Seattle, Jenna, voice urgent. Apex isn't done. They're coming for everything. The honeymoon was meant to be sanctuary. A cabin in the San Juan Islands, kayaks slicing fjord-like waters, no signal to tether them to the mainland's machinations. But Jenna's call pierced the idyll like a harpoon, yanking them back to reality mid-toast with local cider. Wyatt's jaw set, that familiar steel returning, but Aiden saw the flicker, fear masked as fury. Let them come, Wyatt growled, phone clutched white-knuckled. We've beaten worse. Aiden cupped his face, grounding. Together. No solo nights. They cut the trip short, fairy horns mourning their retreat, and dove into battle mode upon docking. Apex's escalation was surgical. Anonymous tips to regulators claiming Kane Innovations skimmed grants, doctored emails implicating Wyatt in the original leak. The press feasted, tech darling's dark side? Splashed across the Seattle Times, stock whispers turning to shouts. Wyatt paced the queen and living room, floorboards creaking under his weight, while Aiden manned the war room laptop, cross-referencing alibis. It's Pierce, Aiden said, voice steady despite the storm. He wants the sustainable AG space, and we're the thorns. Wyatt halted, eyes locking on Aiden's. Then we pull them out. Root and all. The double entendre hung. A nod to their shared language of growth and grit. But beneath it, Aiden glimpsed the old obsession stirring. A glint in Wyatt's eye, not for him but for vengeance. Promise me, Aiden said, rising to bridge the gap. We fight clean. No shadows. Wyatt's nod was reluctant, lips brushing Aiden's temple. For you. The counteroffensive launched at dawn. PR blitz scripted by Aiden, vulnerability as weapon. Wyatt's op-ed in Wired. From rejection to resilience. Why trust fuels innovation. It detailed not just the corporate sabotage, but personal scars, high school heartbreaks anonymized, yet laced with their truth. Readers devoured it, shares spiking like summer heat. Donors rallied. A Portland philanthropist, moved by the human angle, pledged seed funding for community farms. But Pierce struck personal. A dossier arrived at Aiden's office, FedEx, unmarked, pages thick with surveillance. Photos of their wedding kiss pixelated for tabloid sleaze, transcripts of therapy sessions. How? Bribed receptionist. Worst. A grainy shot from Ridge Valley, Wyatt's truck outside the Harper House all those years ago. Caption Stalker CEO? Aiden's hands shook as he showed Wyatt, the kitchen island a battlefield of takeout containers. This ends us, he whispered. Wyatt's face drained of color, then flushed volcanic. He dug into that? I'll bury him. He grabbed keys, storming toward the door. Aiden blocked him, palms flat on chest. No. We go legal. Or he wins, turns you into the monster. The standoff stretched, breaths mingling until Wyatt deflated, forehead to Aiden's. I'm sorry. The obsession. It's my curse. Not curse, Aiden murmured. It's fire. Channel it. Lawyers swarmed, injunctions flying. Evidence mounted. Pierce's firm hiring PIs with ties to Reno, Wyatt's stepfather's old haunts. A desperate bid for leverage. Victor Kane, it turned out, had been paid peanuts to recall tales of Wyatt's troubled youth. Wyatt confronted him via video call, screen splitting the distance. Victor's motel room shabby, eyes hollow. Needed the cash, son. Didn't know it'd hurt. Wyatt's voice cracked. Hurt? You sold me out twice. Silence then. But I forgive you. For me. The call ended. Wyatt wept, Aiden holding the pieces. The climax unfolded in a federal courtroom downtown. Mahogany benches echoing with testimony. Pierce, slick in pinstripes, sneered from the stand but cracked under cross. Emails admitting orchestration. Neutralized the competition in black and white. Verdict. Settlement massive. Apex's reputation in tatters. As they exited into autumn sun, reporters swarming Wyatt shielded Aiden. A wall of quiet strength. You were right, Wyatt said later, over victory scotch on the deck. Clean wins. Aiden clinked glasses. We win. Winter settled, snow dusting the Olympics like powdered sugar. Their life wove deeper. Adopting a rescue mutt from the Seattle shelter, naming him Ridge after the town that birthed their pain. Mornings, Aiden jogged the waterfront, Wyatt joining with coffee handoffs, rituals building resilience. Therapy evolved, group sessions for queer entrepreneurs, stories mirroring theirs, forging community from isolation. But by Kitch whispered in quiet moments. Aiden's mother fell ill pneumonia, the damp Maine air turning traitor. He flew east alone. Wyatt buried in a Tokyo summit for vertical farm tech. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and regret. His mother frail in the bed, oxygen hissing soft. Proud of you, boy, she rasped, hand in his. Loving true. He stayed a week, nursing her through fever dreams where Harlan loomed, quoting scripture twisted. Aiden read to her instead. Wyatt's memoir Galleys, passages of hope. Recovery slow, but she rallied, discharged to the cottage with promises of visits. Returning jet-lagged and hollow, Aiden found Wyatt at the airport. Sign held high. Mr. Harper Kane? Laughter bubbled, easing the ache. That night they made plans. A road trip south, tracing Route 101 to Big Sur, healing highways. Spring brought renewal. Kane Innovations expansion, microfarms in underserved neighborhoods, Aiden's campaigns earning awards. A gala at the Museum of Pop Culture, Tux's sharp, Wyatt's hand possessive at his back. Still obsessed, he whispered amid toasts. Aiden grinned. Good. Keep me on my toes. Yet the deepest conflict brewed internal. Aiden's novel, birthed from their saga, queried to agents. Rejection letters piled. Too autobiographical, tone uneven, mirroring high school echoes. Doubt not. Was their story sellable or just theirs? Wyatt read drafts by lamplight, edits gentle. It's you, Aiden. Raw real. Publish or not, it's victory. Submission after submission until a yes. A small press in Brooklyn, echoes of rejection. Launch in a Capitol Hill bookstore, shelves groaning with locals, Finn toasting from Maine via Zoom. Readings drew tears. Queer youth in the front row, eyes wide with recognition. Summer peaked in a family barbecue at Discovery Park, grills smoking salmon, Jenna wrangling cornhole. Wyatt's stepfather appeared, uninvited but welcome, amends in a handshake. Proud son. As dusk fell, fireflies winking, Aiden and Wyatt slipped away to the beach, waves lapping secrets. From bosses to husbands, Aiden mused, sand between toes. Wyatt kissed his temple. From rejection to this. Worth every scar. The stars wheeled overhead. A canopy of compassion. Identity etched in salt and light. Their story not ended but enduring, human, flawed, free. The launch of Echoes of Rejection rippled outward like a stone in the sound. Reviews trickling in from The Advocate. A poignant queer odyssey, raw as a fresh wound. And whispers of film options from indie producers in LA. Aiden floated on the high, signings at Elliott Bay Book Company drawing lines out the door, faces young and weathered sharing their own tales of hidden loves and hard-won truths. Wyatt beamed from the sidelines, his pride a quiet force, but Aiden caught the undercurrent. A tension in Wyatt's shoulders, the way his phone buzzed more insistently during dinners. It started small. A missed call from Tokyo investors, Wyatt snapping at an intern over misplaced specs. Breathe. Aiden urged over breakfast, avocado toast cooling. The book's not the empire. Wyatt's smile was tight. It's you shining. Adjust. Adjustment cracked during a weekend in the San Juan's Redux, this time with friends. Jenna and her partner Marco, fin crashing from Portland. Kayaks bobbed. laughter echoing off cliffs, but Wyatt withdrew mid-paddle or idle. What's eating you? Aiden asked later, bonfire crackling. Wyatt poked embers, sparks rising. The book. It's out there, our pain public. What if it drags us back? Aiden laced fingers. Or forward. It's catharsis, not cage. But the cage tightened with an email. Harlan's old fishing buddy, a Ridge Valley relic named Earl, forwarding a Bangor Daily News clip. Local authors tell exposes small-town secrets? Twists on their story. Exaggerated, salacious, painting Wyatt as the jilted stalker. Aiden the heartless tease. Online forums ignited. Predatory vibes, high school trauma porn. Wyatt's response was volcanic. Nights in the home gym. Heavy bag thumping like suppressed rage. Aiden found him there once, knuckles raw, sweat slicked. Hit me instead, Aiden said, stepping close. Wyatt's laugh choked. Can't. Love you too much. The betrayal deepened when Finn confessed. Beer loosened at a Mariners game. I talked to a reporter. Thought it'd help promotion. Didn't know it'd twist. Wyatt's forgiveness was arctic. Ghosting Finn, blocks on socials. Aiden mediated. Heart splintering. He's family. He pleaded in their kitchen, rain-sheeting windows. Family doesn't sell your soul. Wyatt's voice was ice. The rift widened, Wyatt retreating to workaholic orbits. Late flights to Silicon Valley, deals inked with handshakes that felt like escapes. Aiden buried in edits for a sequel, but loneliness crept, a fog rolling in from the bay. He confided in Jenna over lattes at Le Panier. It's like high school redux, me chasing him running. She stirred foam thoughtfully. Power shift. You're the star now. Obsession flips to fear. Climax brewed in LA. A pitch meeting for the book rights. Producers gushed in a Sunset Strip office. Think Call Me By Your Name meets Succession, but Wyatt video conferencing iced out. Pass. He typed mid-call, screen blacking. Aiden flew home furious, confronting in the airport lounge, gates humming anonymity. You sabotaged it. Why? Wyatt's eyes were haunted. Because it's not just words. It's us exposed. What if they see the weakness, the boy I was, rejected? Aiden's voice rose, heedless of stares. Weakness? It's strength. You survived me, built this. Let the world see. Wyatt stood, bag slung. Easy for you. You rejected, I obsessed. That's the scar that doesn't fade. The flight home was separate rows, silence a chasm. Landing in drizzle, Aiden drove alone. Radio crooning Springsteen, Thunder Road, escape anthems mocking. At Queen and Wyatt waited on the stoop, drenched, no umbrella. I panicked. Again. Aiden parked, engine ticking cool. We both do. But shutting down? That's the real rejection. They talked till midnight, bourbon warming truths. Wyatt's fear of irrelevance, Aiden's guilt eternal. Dawn brought pact, therapy reboot, boundaries redrawn. Wyatt greenlit the film, conditional. Their input, queer leads. Summer waned in reconciliation's glow. They volunteered at Seattle Pride. Rainbow flags snapping. Wyatt manning a booth on sustainable futures for LGBTQ+ farms. A kid, 16 and wide-eyed, approached. Your book. It made me come out. Wyatt knelt, voice thick. Brave kid. Own it. Aiden watched, heart swelling. Obsession transmuted to mentorship. Fall harvest yielded bounty. The film deal signed, table read in Vancouver, drawing tears. But by kitsch struck intimate. Wyatt's diagnosis, routine checkup veering to MRI, early pancreatic shadow, treatable if caught. The oncologist's office in Swedish medical smelled of hope and bleach, pamphlets stacked like accusations. We're fighting, Aiden said, hand clasped in Wyatt's, rings glinting under fluorescence. Wyatt's grin was defiant. Like always. Chemocycles blurred autumn to winter, Wyatt's frame thinning, but spirit unbowed. Jokes over Jell-O, plotting farm expansions from hospital beds. Aiden read fan mail aloud, voices of the rejected finding voice through them. Remission came spring, scans clear as cascade streams. They celebrated in Ridge Valley, planting a community garden on Harlan's old lot. Rows of kale and lavender, plaque reading for roots reclaimed. Jenna officiated their vow renewal, Marco grilling, Finn redeemed with a mic check. To obsessions that endure, Wyatt toasted, eyes on Aiden. Laughter rose, waves of it carrying the message. Compassion in chaos, freedom in flaws, identity a garden tended daily. Yet as stars pricked the main sky, Aiden whispered, "No more bosses. Just us." Wyatt's kiss sealed it. Always. Remission's gift was a fragile piece, like the first crocus pushing through Seattle's perpetual gray. But Aiden learned quickly it demanded vigilance. Monthly scans, dietary tweaks that turned their kitchen into a lab of quinoa and kale smoothies. Wyatt adapted with his trademark grit, channeling energy into a non-profit arm of Kane Innovations. Verdant Voices, grants for queer youth in rural Americas to launch eco-projects, turning personal pain into communal power. Aiden's sequel, Obsessions Entwined, flew off presses, its narrative arc mirroring their health odyssey. Love as the ultimate resilience. But the idol fractured under accumulated strain. A boardroom coup simmered. Investors, smelling weakness in Wyatt's absences, pushed for a pivot to AI agritech, sidelining the human element. Numbers over narratives, the lead VC, a venture shark named Harlan, irony biting, argued in glass-walled meetings. Wyatt's rebuttals, once unassailable, now laced with fatigue, the chemo's echo in his pallor. Aiden from the marketing perch watched the erosion, his pitches reframed as soft, by suits who prized algorithms over empathy. Late nights he drafted memos but Wyatt waved them off. "It's my mess. I'll clean it." Isolation bred resentment. Aiden threw himself into book tours, coasts blurring. Boston readings evoking Ridge Valley ghosts, San Francisco panels on queer lit pulsing with electric energy. In a Castro cafe post-event, a fan-lithe 20-something artist named Riley lingered, compliments veering flirtatious. "Your words. They make vulnerability sexy." Aiden laughed it off, but the spark lingered. A forbidden flicker in the monotony of worry. Back in Seattle, guilt gnawed. He confessed over dinner, Thai basil chicken steaming. Just talk. But it felt alive. Wyatt's fork paused, eyes darkening not with jealousy but hurt. "Alive? Am I the corpse here, Aiden? The sick husband holding you back?" "No," Aiden reached, but Wyatt stood chair harsh. "You rejected me once for safety. Don't do it again for thrill." The door slammed, Wyatt vanishing into the night. A run along the locks, miles pounding out demons. Aiden waited up, Ridge the mutt whining at his feet, the house echoing empty. Dawn brought Wyatt back, sweat-soaked, collapsing into confession. "I tailed you to the airport. Saw the goodbye hug. Wanted to storm in." Aiden's stomach dropped. "Tailed? After everything?" Wyatt's head bowed. "Old habits. The obsession, it claws when I'm weak." Trust teetered. Therapy a battlefield. Dr. Ellis mediated, her office now a second home. "Boundaries aren't walls," she coached. "They're gardens, fenced but blooming." They rebuilt. Date nights enforced, no work talk. Wyatt delegating board skirmishes to Jenna, her promotion a bomb. Aiden curtailed tours, prioritizing presence. Walks in Green Lake, feeding ducks breadcrumbs, normalcy a novel thrill. Climax erupted at the Verdant Voices Gala, Space Needle rotating slow. Donors in black tie mingling with Grant kids beaming in thrifted finery. Harlan VC cornered Wyatt by the bar, voice oily. "Step down, Kane. Your heart's not in it, literally." Wyatt's retort was fire. "My heart built this. Yours just funds it." But later, overhearing a whisper, "Cancer comeback?" Sell while hot, Wyatt cracked, retreating to a balcony, city lights mocking below. Aiden found him, wind whipping. "They're vultures. We fight." Wyatt turned, eyes wet. "What if I lose? The company, you, everything. Then we start over. Like high school but wiser." Aiden's arms encircled, steady. "You're my obsession too." The speech that followed was legendary. Wyatt at the podium, voice resonant, unveiling Verdant Voices stats. Farms feeding 500 families, youth jobs sparked. "Innovation isn't code," he declared. "It's compassion. Betray that and you're obsolete." Harlan slunk out. Investors applauded, pivots shelved. Fall deep in the bond, leaves carpeting Discovery Park paths. But by Kitsch doubled down. Aiden's mother rallied once, now hospice-bound, lungs failing like bellows. The call came mid-harvest festival, pumpkins grinning ironic. Aiden flew solo again, Wyatt in Berlin for a green summit. Ridge Valley Hospice was hushed, monitors beeping elegy. Brought the book, Aiden said, settling beside her. Obsessions entwined open to their favorite chapter, Rejection's Redemption. She smiled faint. Read the end. He did, voice steady through tears. In the end, love isn't possession. It's release, freeing the other to be whole. Her hand squeezed, then stilled. Peaceful passing, but Aiden shattered. Funeral a blur of casseroles and condolences. Wyatt arrived post-burial, red-eye flight etching lines. No words at the grave. Just embrace under pines, the woods where it began. She saw us true, Wyatt murmured. Back west, grief wove into routine. Aiden channeling loss into a dedication, for Evelyn who taught mercy. Wyatt proposed therapy sabbaticals, their marriage a living lab. Winter solstice brought light. A positive scan for Wyatt, holiday lights strung on the queen and fur. Finn hosted New Year's, redemption and ragtime jazz, toasts to survival. Spring bloomed defiant, verdant voices expanding to Maine. A Ridge Valley plot dedicated to Evelyn. At the groundbreaking, kids planted seeds, Wyatt kneeling with them, dirt under nails. Grow strong, he told a shy boy. Roots hold. Aiden watched, heart full. Like us. Summer circuits closed. Film production underway. Vancouver sets buzzing. They visited set, extras milling leads, 2 actors with chemistry crackling. Rehearsing their kiss. Inspired, the director said, clapping shoulders. Yet final conflict. A leaked script draft sensationalized. Wyatt as villainous boss, Aiden victim. Outrage online, cancel Kane trending. Wyatt laughed it off publicly but privately fumed. They twist us again. Aiden rallied, joint statement, art evolves truth. Ours endures. Backlash flipped to buzz, box office projections soaring. As credits rolled in their minds, they stood on a Bainbridge bluff, fairy horns saluting. From rejection to real, Aiden quipped. Wyatt's arm tightened. Eternal cut. The horizon stretched, message clear. In America's vast tapestry, love's narrative defies edits. Human, heartfelt, unbound. The film's premiere lit up TIFF like a flare. Toronto's autumn chill no match for the heat of anticipation. Red carpet flashes popped, Aiden and Wyatt arm in arm in bespoke suits. Wyatt's midnight blue evoking Maine nights. Aiden's charcoal a nod to Seattle fog. Interviews flowed. How much is autobiographical? All of it, Wyatt answered, grin wolfish. The heart anyway. Aiden's hand in his. A talisman against the surreal. Reviews cascaded post-screening. A gut-punch romance, queer cinema's succession with soul variety. Standing ovation stretched 5 minutes, tears streaking Aiden's cheeks as the leads, embracing on stage, dedicated to those who loved in silence. Backstage, champagne corks popped, producers hugging, but Wyatt pulled Aiden aside, green room hushed. Proud? He asked, voice low. Overwhelming. Aiden's kiss was fierce, claiming amid chaos. Success snowballed. Oscar whispers, streaming deals, but fame's underbelly bit quick. Paparazzi swarmed LAX on return, questions barbed, stalker trope. Glamorizing toxicity? Wyatt shielded, no comment, but tabloids feasted. From high school heartbreak to Hollywood honeymoon. Kane's obsessive empire. Home and Queen and Sanctuary frayed. Fan mail mixed adoration with venom. Letters praising resilience, emails damning Wyatt as predator. A brick through their window one dawn, freak boss scrawled in marker. Shattered glass mirroring Aiden's resolve. Enough, he said, sweeping shards. We don't hide. Wyatt nodded, but shadows lengthened. Sleepless nights, security consults. Verdant voices thrived, though grants multiplying, a Texas outpost mentoring trans farmers. Wyatt poured in, road trips south. Dusty panhandle fields turned verdant. Kids like young Wyatt finding voice in soil. Aiden joined one, Austin heat thick but joy pure. Planting sessions under live oaks, stories swapped over brisket. A teen Cole confided. Your film gave me guts to tell my dads. Wyatt's arm around the boy, tears unspoken. Yet conflict-crested domestic. Aiden's solo project, a podcast rejected voices, interviewing queer survivors. Episodes raw, Ridge Valley alums recounting crushes crushed, Seattle activists on corporate closets. Wyatt listens supportive until one fins, detailing Wyatt's post-rejection spiral, bar fights, reckless drives. You aired that. Wyatt confronted post-dinner, plates uncleared. Aiden stood ground. It's his truth, like ours in the book. Wyatt's voice rose. My pain public again. Feels like betrayal. Or healing, Aiden countered. You taught me that. Standoff dissolved in sobs, makeup sex tender, reaffirming. But the seed of doubt sprouted. Was their openness armor or Achilles' heel? Climax detonated at a White House Correspondents' Dinner nod. Sustainability panel. Aiden moderating, Wyatt keynoting. DC's cherry blossoms mocked the tension. Air Force One gleaming distant. Post-speech applause, a heckler surged. Ex-Apex exec. Pierce's proxy microphone grabbed. Kane's a fraud. Obsessed tyrant. Preying on the vulnerable. Security swarmed but damage viral. Clips looping, Kane exposed trending. Wyatt froze on stage, mic live. Call me what you will. But I've loved through it, fierce flawed. That's my power. Backstage collapse. Wyatt hyperventilating. Aiden grounding breaths. You owned it, Aiden whispered. Fallout raged, stock dips, donor pullbacks, but allies rallied. Verdant Voices board statement. Our founder's humanity is his strength. Media pivot. Profiles in out, Kane's obsession. Love as legacy. Winter healed slow, snow blanketing wounds. They retreated to a main cabin. Ridge Valley fringes. Wood stove crackling, lobster traps idle. Days chopping wood, nights journaling joint. What if we stripped bare? Podcast evolved, Wyatt guesting, vulnerabilities voiced. Spring verdicts cleared. Heckler charged, film netting noms. Best adapted screenplay. Ceremony night in Dolby, stars orbiting. Aiden's hand in Wyatt's as wins tallied. No statue but nomination speech. To the rejected, your story's the script. Summer circled to renewal. Verdant Voices gala in New Orleans. Jazz pulsing, crawfish boils steaming. Pierce attended, humbled. Handshake tentative. Respect, he muttered. Wyatt's nod. Redemption's open. Aiden's mother memorial garden bloomed. Maine perennials defiant. They visited, hands in earth, whispering to Evelyn. We made it. As sun dipped, Wyatt knelt, not proposal but promise. Boss no more. Partners eternal. Aiden pulled him up, kiss salt kissed. Always were. The journeys are complete, message etched. In America's mosaic, compassion conquers, freedom flowers from fetters, identity. Obsessive, unyielding. Love's loudest.